What up, people of the night? The shadow people. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a good evening. Funny Viper in the house. Only Oscars, what up? Stephen P. Mark, what's going on? Oh no. Dang, Ivy. Hopefully you find a good spot. Did you find what you wanted at the store? Yeah. Had to go to the dispensary, but I can't go there without a fucking wallet, so I had to come back and go get it. So, and one of these. Pridemore, what up, William? And a good can of hairspray to their eyes. Yep. And everything's a mess down here. I gotta clean it up here in a little bit. Probably do that after this. Do some water changes too. Have a porter to go with your ribs. Cool. Ribs are nice. Ribs are nice. Have you named the Flowerhorn yet? Nah, still waiting for a good name to pop into my head. I'm pretty picky sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes it's like, boom, that's your name. Sometimes it takes me a little bit. He's awesome, though. Only Oscars is back. What up, June? How your Oscars doing? Right? He deserves a great name. Love them. Yeah, I love this guy, man. He's a freaking trip. Never had one before, so he's all. I got him a couple months ago as like a little itty bitty guy. It's a fireman's dream from Woody's line, but it's from Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics. He was breeding them, but he's the line originated from Thailand. Right now, he's picking at the glass, and I can hear it. It's the craziest thing. He's got these little teeth. Like I didn't just throw you in a ton of pellets. Thinking about getting another. Nice. Yeah, what did you name them, Junior? Yeah, I've thought about getting another too, but they're kind of expensive, especially when you have to go buy a single big tank and a filter and the heater and everything, and then you got to go buy the fish. And this guy has a heater controller that controls the heater as redundancy. Because this guy, so far, is the most expensive freshwater fish, single handed, as a single specimen. Now, it's not that much, but in general, with what I've invested into the tank and into the fish, he's one's a pendy little spoiled little dude. I love him. So, I am betting on Oscar. I did have decor in there for a while, but it does trap detritus. And also, since this is bare bottom, I don't want to risk of him moving any rocks when he gets bigger. That could ultimately hurt the tank, or he could hurt himself. Also, most people um, keep flower horns with other stuff, and it's just fine. But I'm trying to keep him show quality, and fin damage and scale damage and scars are something that I want to try to mitigate on all my fish. But these guys, especially, and Oscars, when I had my longfin Oscar, he was in like a bare bottom tank, no decorations, and he was by himself. And he was the best goddamn looking longfin Oscar I've ever seen. I mean, he was still pretty small, but his fins were perfect. There were no tears in them. There were like he had the perfect white ring around him of growth. Like that's what I try to look for in show quality fish. I mean, I'm no show quality expert, but I like it. The kind of complexity of it is weird. Then we also got um, a new saltwater fish, a blenny. It's a tail spot blenny. They're only like this big, man. Some decor is too tall. Yeah. Yep. Almost time to take out some decor. Yeah. What do you feed him? I feed him a lot of, not a whole lot of different foods. I'm not feeding him any bloodworms. Staying away from that because I've heard some cichlids and bloodworms can have problems, and I'm just like not risking it. Saltwater frozen foods I will feed because there's no possibility of saltwater parasites or bacteria getting into freshwater. So I don't mind doing that as a treat. But right now, his staple is the Northfin Krill Gold Pro, whatever. It's a 2 millimeter pellet. It's 42% protein, 5% fat, 5% fiber, 9% moisture, 9% ash. Yeah, and the main ingredient is whole Antarctic krill. Okay, that's the first ingredient. That's kind of what I look for in fish foods. Is like, um, if the first or the first couple of ingredients are whole shrimp items or fish items, salmon. What sort of problems can I say sometimes? I've heard of some cichlids having bacterial issues with bloodworms. That might be bloodworms from a bad source that caused that. That might be something other that's just coincidence that the fish had, you know? And it's all anecdotal, but most now this is for flower horns, okay? That I don't feed flower bloodworms to. All my other cichlids, I don't have a ram anymore. I didn't feed him bloodworms because those notoriously got bloat with bloodworms, from what I read. And apistos. I don't have any apistos anymore. The steel blue died. Um, but everything else, yeah. Mainly it's a pelleted food. Also, I do feed Rapashi Soylent Green and Rapashi Red Rum. I think I'm missing chat. Okay. Okay. BJ Palmer, what up, Billie Jean? Is everyone tonight staying awake for a few moments? That need some sleep. Yeah, it's probably late as hell for you. Bare bottom is your favorite. You know, I this tank is really easy to clean, and it's been really easy to take care of. I just do my water changes. I suck out any stuff that the filter doesn't take out. I change the filter pad once every couple of weeks. Male pet threadfin cichlid I feel would do great in a competition, but I do want to risk him taking on a plane and such. Yeah, that is the thing. But you know, there's like online photography shows that or contests that happen with cichlids, and I mean you got to get really into the photography at that to place well. I've noticed. Yeah, some people do a whole lot of extra, like if you really look into it, they do a whole lot of extra stuff that's like fin shaping and fin splitting. They even do it in arowana shows. A lot of cichlid shows do the fin splitting, like Red Texas too. Gina, what are you doing up at this hour? All figures. You're a night owl too. Need another male apisto? Yeah. Read me a bedtime story. There once was a coral that when the sun set, it it put its polyps out and then it went to sleep. There you go. I don't know. Glass is hard to shoot through. It is. It's pretty hard. Although you've been getting some pretty good shots I've seen, Ivy, on your Instagram. Why would you fin split? So it's like a thing where if you split in between the fin rays, like the actual skeletal bone where it's just the tissue, if you split that with like a razor or some tool that they use, and they go all the way down the caudal fin, and they'll even do the dorsal fin sometimes, and the anal fin, and the pectoral fins, and that will heal up, and it will theoretically make the fins larger and appear bigger. And then they go a step further. Well, they'll shape them with a razor blade along the edge. I do not condone this practice, but it's out there, and they do it. And there's a lot of hormone foods out there. If you look at a lot of these Flowerhorn foods, that are like from Asia or imported, and they've got barely any English, and you read the ingredients, it's shady as heck out here, man. Some of these companies just out here, yes, secret company name, growth supplement, and I'm just like, or secret ingredient, and I'm like, no, I'm not buying this crap for my fish. So I would stay away from the Flowerhorn foods that are marketed to fish that are imported, or marketed to Flowerhorns that are imported. Now, I think the Excalibur fish foods, which are made for Flowerhorns, that's a company that's based out in the USA, and they don't seem to have any shady ingredients. But I'm sticking with companies that just make normal fish food, and I'm feeding them normal fish food. And I also give him Vitachem, and I'm starting to do that with all my fish. That shouldn't count anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That shouldn't count. But then again, they're a hybrid. These things are. How far are you from Sacramento? I'm not that far, actually. I'm in Oregon, in Portland. Sacramento's North Cal. I can probably take a train there. I've done it before. I think it took like 12 hours. Yeah, I could easily take a plane there, and it would only take a couple hours. Because I've flown from here to Arizona, and that was like 2.5, maybe 3 hours. But he's still too small. Like, here's how I groom him. Is this little stick. He hates this stick. Since I can't have another Flowerhorn for him to chase around in another tank next to him, and I'm not getting a blood parrot, I just kind of let him chase this thing around. He thinks it's another Flowerhorn, but this thing's about 3 inches from nose to caudal tail, and that's how they usually measure Flowerhorns for competition. Is they're not measuring from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. They're measuring from the tip of the nose to the end of the caudal peduncle, right here, where the actual fin rays start. Yes, that is my fish stick for my little Flowerhorn. It sucks, Ivy. There's a huge fucking like. It's weird, but normal people, normal fish keepers, normal Flowerhorn keepers don't do that. This is mostly people that are like in some other backwards country. Not gonna name it. Any of them, because there's more than just one. And it probably does happen in the United States, but I haven't seen it. We'll be chatting for a few, eating the ribs. Ooh, save me some. You're an hour away. You got to check out the Sacramento Club meet. It should be going on in October. They do it twice a year. I think one in October and one in April. So hopefully, maybe the one in April I'll be able to make too, and he'll be big enough to enter into free marking. Is what I'm hoping. Because he's a fireman's dream, and I know the fireman's dream is a golden base uh, descendant or origin. There's different classes for Flowerhorns. You've got your ZZs, which are your Zenzus, which are the ones that are typically more short body and the big fucking heads, like the big monster cocks. And then you've got your KK class, which is your Comfas. And your Comfas are usually going to be bit bigger, long body, square body. The nuchal hump cock is going to be more harder and tighter to the head. And they usually have more of a fin wrap where their anal fin and their dorsal fin, as long as their caudal fin, will all kind of like when they display, they wrap each other really well and it looks like a giant flag. And then they've got, I think, free marking class. And then there's small ZZ, small KK, I think one other, not sure. Well, there's a few different types of cocks. There's a hard cock, a water cock, and there's like the in between. So like those big kind of squishy looking cocks are what we call the soft water cocks. And those are a little bit more softer, but the ones that are more tighter, more kind of more proportioned, um, that's considered a hard cock. You're talking about Flowerhorn nuchal humps here. If you don't know. Ah. All right, YouTube. We're talking about the fish. They have a little hump on their head, and they call it a cock. All right, and there's different types. Okay. Just realized how fucking weird I was sounding. So we're gonna change the subject on cocks. Turn the wheel. Mike B, what up? Zen, Ginger, what's going on? Coke, yeah, Coke. Most people say Coke, but I always forget, and I always say cock because it's funny. Larry, what is going on, man? All this hard cocks and then he shows up. Flowerhorn has a small one, and cocks are all genetic, right? Because the genetics on the Flowerhorn, a good Flowerhorn, maybe out of 100 of them or 200 of them, however big the spawn is, maybe 10-20% are going to be that show quality hard cock, pearls up the wazoo, good body, good finish, and be that perfect fish. While the other 80%, most strains, now I don't know about all the strains, most strains, they'll vary. Like with all fish, they'll have variation, especially with them being a hybrid, they'll all have different variation, and no flower horn will look the same. They're all completely unique. You know, they all got their own fingerprint pattern of pearls. They uh, they all have their own personality, like Oscar's is saying. Which dude, how you been? Doing all right. Working the graveyard, but got tonight off, so I'm up. It's more fun to say cock. It is. Aquarium Daily, what's going on? And this guy, he's starting to get one, but he's still very little. Nice to learn about a different side of this hobby. What up, PA Fish and Tanks? Yeah, there's a couple different sides of the hobby. You know, the the Flowerhorn hybrid keeping, especially with the red Texas, they go deep into the competition shit. But mainly, if you are and you're trying to groom your hybrids for competition, watch what you're doing, watch what other people are doing, and make the right decisions. Like I might try and get a grooming mirror, but I don't know. I might not go that far. A lot of people will even go as far as putting a blood parrot in there. You know, those blood parrot hybrids, those little bright orange guys with the funny looking mouths that don't close all the way. Well, they don't close all the way, so they can't really do a whole lot of damage. So they'll put one of those in with the flower horn, and the flower horn will kind of get pissed at it, and because it's in its territory, obviously, and kind of use it as a punching bag. Well, that's a risk. The flower horn can kill the blood parrot at any time, and if you're not there to catch it, you got a big old cichlid in with your other big old cichlid. It's going to create an ammonia spike, and I imagine most people don't really want that. And the worst thing that could happen is if your flower horn does let that blood parrot live, and that blood parrot gets big enough, it will kill the flower horn. I've seen huge blood parrots get put in with too small of a flower horn and it not ending up well. Because they might not have that mouth, but they've got that body mass when they swim. And I've had this happen to other fish where they just get like knocked out and like stunned almost. And if they get hit too many times and if they're put up against the glass and stressed out, like these fish are hardy, but when they get stressed out, they pretty much fall apart. So it's best to keep them the happiest they can be in the best condition. As deformed. Yeah, a lot of the short body ones do look deformed, and a lot of they do ultimately when they get bigger. They're ugly, but they're a cute ugly, man. Like Oscars. Oscars get those big bubbly eyes and the big throaty gills when they get bigger. They're funny looking fish. Flower horns have only been chasing around the other flower horns. Yeah, they're pretty aggressive co-species. I mean, I've seen flower horn communities happen, but usually when it's a mated pair or a really big tank, and I know you've got huge tanks, and usually when you've got a big enough tank, shit can happen, and shit will work out, especially when you get them small and you grow them out together. I've seen crazy shit happen. Like I know Holly, forget her name, on YouTube, but she's got a flower horn in a 120 with other cichlids, and I think she's got, and they've been together for like years now. He's huge. her Flowerhorn with all the other fish. So, I mean, it can be done. Yeah, I know. They've got other tank mates. Their eyes are huge. Yep. Yep. I have to keep it alone. I'm not even going to try to risk it with this guy. I haven't tried putting anything else in here. It's just him. This is his tank. He's got a Crebensis sticker and a beta sticker of Bunny Viper at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. Right there. Ooh. And Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics sticker, because that's where I got them from. Right there. Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics. Go sub. Let me drop his link for you guys that haven't subbed. Oh, and Gina's Reef too is doing a giveaway. You guys should check that out too. I'm telling you. But I mean, if you ain't on Fish Family, what are you doing? Just get on it. Where is it? Okay. I'm slow. Oh, look at Zen. I got tons of mods in here. I didn't even realize. I hate that StreamYard doesn't show my mods. Boom. Do you have stickers? Needing a couple, collecting self-mark Strolson, getting him a package together. Oh, you know, I need to get on that. I'm just so lazy and technically challenged. It's like putting me off. Like my logo that's here at the top, I made it on my phone where I legitimately had a picture of my blue Acara and I traced it out with my finger and tried to cut it out, and then I put the white outline on it, and then I made the letters and I turned them and put it up, and then I made the other letters and I turned them and put them up, and then I had to like cut out inside of some of the letters, and I didn't do the best job, so I need to like redo it or something. But I got a computer and I could probably do it on the computer at a way better level, but I just don't know how to do it on computer. I could do it on this stupid thing, but I just don't know how to do it on this thing. This thing. What is this? You took a picture and sent it to a sticker maker on Amazon. I didn't even know you can get stickers made on Amazon. I should look that up. That's a good thing you mentioned. Better chance if young and stay together. Yeah. Once you move them around, you know, it breaks up that hierarchy. And I've had cichlid tanks like this 55. I've had to reset it a couple times because I had one fish that just got way too aggressive, and he was keeping all the other fish in check. And one day he was like, well, I'm done with, she actually was like, I'm done with these other fish. So I moved her out of the tank. And then all the other fish were just like battling over fucking dominance because Karen wasn't in there to keep them in check, and Karen didn't want anybody else and just was really starting to kill everyone. Uh, she did kill a couple of fish, but yeah, it was just all chaos, man. Central Americans need big tanks. Realize it. I just need bigger tanks. You know, if I could replace this with a 120, I would. I think it's a rabbit or some small animal. Yeah, I know some people in the fish fam make stickers, and there's like other sites you can use. Missed your stream yesterday. I'm hurting too much. Had to pull out a stent from my kidney. Ooh, wish I had. No, I never. Hopefully, I'll never do that again. Back to fishing. Oh shit, Mike. Bigger tanks do minimize aggression. They do. They do. But some of these Central Americans, man, I'm just telling you, like, they just don't want tank mates. Like, they just don't. They don't want them. They don't want friends. They want the owner to feed them every day, or they want something to chase around and kill. Because I've seen it to where, like, you move that aggressive fish that used to always be out and about and would feed from your hand and was a really cool fish, and then you move them to a tank by themselves and they just sulk at the bottom all day and do nothing because now they're bored and they have nothing to bully. So you got to put something in there for them to beat up. Oh, what was your problem? Did you not expect me? You're paying attention to something at the bottom. Done fish fam stickers for everyone else to reach out to him. Probably out. Cool. Yeah, he just seemed really busy. So I was like, you know what? He's a busy man. He just tore down his whole fish room. Did you guys see his latest video on how to completely get rid of duckweed? Almost. Almost. He didn't completely tear down everything. He still has a little bit, like just holding little tanks of some fish. But sounds like he's got some new plans, and I'm excited to see those plans that he's got. Ton of ton of new space. Not new space, it's the same space, but a ton of empty space. It's a new canvas for him to work on. Golf balls too noisy. Yeah, but I had my Oscar, man. I had a little ping pong ball, and I would just put that in there. He'd play with it. I should do that with him. I've seen people where they have trained their Flowerhorn to like swim through hoops and stuff. Flowerhorns are very personable. I don't know if they're as personable as an Oscar because I haven't had them that long yet. But when I had an Oscar, that was the most personable fish I ever had. But this guy, he's up there as the second most personable fish I've ever had. Let's just add a central air supply. to rebuild the entire. Yup. Who did a vid getting rid of duckweed? I missed who you said. Jadrin Aquatics. His name is Jason. It's that dude in Texas that does all the stickers for the fish fam. Oh no. Well, if he takes the hooks off of them, because they're on little split rings, you take split rings off. I don't see why not. If there's no hooks on them, they might play, especially if they're like soft plastics. I mean, as long as they don't actually ingest it, uh, might be something fun for them to play with. I think it's a bait. It might fuck with them up though, because they think it's food and then they don't actually get fed. It's kind of weird. You might want to feed them after doing that, just to make sure they're like, really, you really gonna fuck with me like that? Like, come on now. I thought about it. Everybody made jokes when I had my Oscar. They were like, "Man, he's big enough to fish." They were never like making jokes of filleting him. If he'll chase the laser light because I have a thermometer gun, he'll chase that. He'll bite me when I do water changes and chase my hands whenever I put them in there. Take the hooks off, it will change the action of the lure. Well, I don't think the action of the lure is going to be much of a difference. When you you're going to stick something into the tank of a big fish, they don't really hesitate and they just eat it. Big enough to eat. Well, you don't want to do like little baby baits, like like maybe one of those giant frogs, those floating frog baits. Just toss it in there, goes and pops at it. You throw it back in, or you take it out. You feed them. Be like, okay, maybe. I don't know. Although cichlids in a community, I've noticed they they do act pretty good, as long as they're not overly aggressive. Because I've got cichlids in like the weirdest community ever. It's a South American community, but there's other continents of ditherfish. Hmm. Maybe we'll take a camera around and show you guys the tanks since it's been a little bit. I'm still here. Just gotta get my shit ready. Ugh. I gotta grab the old extension cord for the camera. George RB3, what up? Okay, I'm back. Going to the Atkins Aquarium. Try to with the black water there, stupid. Yeah, you just got to be careful with those laser pointers. You don't want to be shining it into any fish eyes, and so you do want to be careful with that. Two Oscars in a community tank would more likely be aggressive. They would team up to get tank mates. Yep, I wouldn't recommend Oscars in a community tank, but this is my cichlid community tank, and it's got the festivums, myseverum, the blue acara, zebra acara, a little blood parrot, not a blood parrot, polar parrot, tiger barbs, a rainbow fish, um, LSD's African tetra, a couple bichers, albino pleco, And somewhere in there's a little Raphael cruising around. Very heavily stocked. It's got a big old canister filter on it and Aqua Clear 75. The canister filter is Cascade 1000. One Oscar would be shy. Yeah, I had just one Oscar in this tank. This used to be my Oscar tank. I just had one Oscar in there. That was Finn, my long fin Oscar. And he was my best friend. He was never shy. He was the coolest fish. I miss him, but they get too big for this tank. And that Sebrum is relatively going to get too big for this tank. Finn. Now, it had two N's. Finn. Finn. I wonder if I have a picture of him. I have a picture on my Instagram. I know that. I don't think I have it on the computer. I have it on my phone. I can do that. Was he alone in that tank? Yeah, he was all alone. He was my best buddy. That was just his tank. He was the king of this castle. But in 9 months, he grew fast, and yeah, and he acted a lot like this Flowerhorn does, but a lot more petty. Not like petty as in like petty, but like I could pet him. Like I could put my hand in the tank and he would come up and he would flare his fins all big and like brush up against my hand. He would bite, but after a while he would bite once and then he would just swim around and like it was cool. He liked people. What size is this tank? This is a 55 gallon. It's 4 foot by 1 foot by like 22 inches. I think that is heavily stocked. HOB and 2 sponge filters. Change the water once per week, but it's heavily stocked for sure. Yeah, I change the water once per week. I need to get on this one today, and I should be doing it twice per week. I'm starting to notice some issues with my Sebrum. You might be able to see it, but he's got, I think, the start of hole in the head, which just means bad water quality. It means too many fish pooping. So I got to do more water changes and start doing more salt. Help prevent any bad like bacterial infection or fungal infection that could happen in those open sores, you know. But these guys are big poopers, especially those Beischers, man. Those guys are poopers. These festivums and the severums, tiger barbs, yeah, they're poopers. So I have cut the feeding down to once every other day for these guys, since these guys are pretty much young adults. Um, they don't need to be fed a whole ton. Yeah, see, two small geophagus, clown loaches, pleco, one glowfish. Yeah, see, I mean, that's not too bad. Those clown loaches are slow growers, but they get big for sure. And you can see there's not a single goddamn piece of green plant in there. You want to see what happens when I put a handful of duckweed in there? It's so cool, man. These guys eat it up like flake. Let's grab some duckweed. They'll eat the snails and all that are in it. The festivums love duckweed. And it like trained the other fish to go after it as well. Now you can see why I have no plants in here. I have tried Anubias, I have tried Drava ferns, I have tried jungle val, I've tried crypts, Amazon swords. Uh, yeah, they either get ripped up, they can't stay planted, so they if a plant can't stay planted, it's unstable. Then that means it won't grow properly. The Anubias and Java fern, the new leaves, the little bright green, freshly grown stuff, uh, is a fresh snack for them. That's like the best of the creme de la creme plant, and it's the easiest for them to rip off. So the Nubius would never grow, and it would have little chunks taken out of the leaves. Same with the um, Java fern. So I grow blackbeard algae, pretty much. You can see there's a ton of blackbeard algae on the back wall, on all the decorations. And duckweed is actually pretty high in protein. I think it's like in the 60s%. And I'm pretty sure all of us have an abundance of duckweed. So it's a pretty cool little export. And there's never duckweed that lasts in this tank. It's the only tank that doesn't get duckweed. I never have to pull duckweed out. I have to put it in. I did have water lettuce that grew in there for a while, and that was pretty cool. But it started taking over, and I took too much out, and the festivums ate it too much, and it just couldn't grow back. The adult cichlids destroy the plants, still do. They will never accept plants. Yep. Oscar, Jack Dempsey, Juan, boa parrot, 2 blood parrots, and electrical car and a convict. That's pretty lightly stocked for a 150. But that's good. That means you've got room for water chemistry uh, and um, shit like that. You know, it's not overstocked. That's a good 150 stocking. I like that. I do wish I could make this 55 a 120. So it's the same 4-foot space, but it will be 2 feet tall and 2 feet front to back. That would be perfect for these guys. And it would be so much better on the water quality. B Wizzle, what up, man? Baby cichlids raised with plants kind of let them live. Red plants have not had a chance. Yeah. Plants and cichlids usually doesn't work. I've had plants in this tank before. I've had like Java ferns and Nubius and jungle val that worked really well. Eleven tanks with plants, one destroyed, one with destroyed pieces. I guess I technically have 3 tanks with no plants, if you count salt water. It does have corals though, so that's something going for it. Um, but the Flowerhorn tank, obviously, we were looking at that, and this tank. Unless I put duckweed in there, then it gets duckweed for a couple hours, about a day. You can see them; they're still working at it. They just eat it all day long. That little one in the front, I believe, is the one and only female. Because one, she's growing slower. The females usually grow slower. And two, her fins don't have extensions like the males. So I'm hoping she pairs up with one of these nice dudes in here. She's got 4 dudes to choose from. Yeah, some plants will work. Gotta go. Want to say hello. Bye, Felicia. B was out. Gotta get a wrap. Binge smoke. Oh shit, B Wiz. That's what I had to do earlier before I came up on here. If you come back, let me know. I'll drop you a link. You know what? If anyone else wants to come up, I'll drop the link. I don't think I've done that in a while. As long as I know you, I don't care if you come up. Although stranger danger and all that, if I don't know you, I might be a little hesitant. Oh, you can see the pleco. Um, yeah, my Raphael, man, I see that guy like once every 4 months. He's a cool fish, though. That Raphael. Did I say pleco? Catfish. Raphael catfish. Not a pleco. It's 1:42 in the morning. And that's just a fun tank. I love the tiger barbs. Most people say tiger barbs are aggressive and nippy. Um, I haven't noticed that with my guys. Oh, they do chase each other quite a lot, and they love. It's really fun in the mornings when I turn the lights on. They like all school up together, and they're like as a group, and then as they all start to wake up, they just cruise along the tank in the morning and just go around every single crevice as like a whole school, head down, pecking at the algae. And I'm like, man, this is really cool behavior. I didn't really notice that before. But now every morning when I turn the lights on, I'll watch this tank for a little bit, and I'll watch the tiger barbs kind of like be like, oh shit, lights on. Okay, okay, let me get my bearings a little bit. All right, let's see. You're over there. All right, let's get together. All right, let's go eat some breakfast as a group. It's really cool. I do want to get some more Alestes Tetra. They're just really hard to find. I did lose one. I don't know why. I started with 3. They were the only ones in the store. I'm hoping to find more because those are pretty cool. Just open water swimming African tetra. They get really nice iridescence on them. It's really hard to pick up on camera, but their back half, top half, gets like these really cool iridescent oranges and pinks, and they just have that bright contrast stripe on the caudal peduncle. It's 442. Dang. Haha, West Coast is the best coast. Am I right? Am I right on the Oscars, or am I right? It's the only time that makes sense on the Oscars is 1:45, right? When whenever people say it's like an hour ahead from me, and I'm like, man, you're in some other place. Time zones. And then Australia, they live it in the future. There's only one time now. Hey, the beauty of it, it was 4:20 20 minutes ago for Mike. So it's always 4:20 somewhere. And the future is now. Let's see if we'll change the camera. And here are these goofballs, my black angels, with the extra ventral fins. I love them. And the weirdest thing happened in here. You might be able to see some little movement of little fish at the bottom. Those are the shellies, the shell dwellers that used to live in this tank when I had a colony of shell dwellers. Well, I apparently didn't catch all the fry out somehow. I don't know how. I took all of the shells out. I did like a huge gravel vac water change. Like, I did 200% almost. Like, I drained the sucker, gravel vac in it and cleaning it, filled it back up, waited a couple days, got the angelfish in there, and well, I got it scaped and the angelfish in there, and then all of a sudden I see these little fucking shell dweller fry a couple weeks later at the bottom. Probably got like 5 or 6 in there. One of these days I'll catch them out. I guess I'm never getting rid of the multis. But they're living just fine with these angelfish for now. I don't know how well that's going to go. There's also some plecos in there. The crenum plant. And there's Val. There's a sword. Some Philippine fern in the front. It's still in the pot. I got to get that off of the pot. But it's got a ton of new growth. You can kind of see the rhizome as it's growing. It's got lots of new leaves. It's like in this tank, so I think I'm going to keep it in this tank. Awesome. I love Madagascar lace. Now, where the heck did the male go? Oh, he's up at the top. There. You remembered the name. Cool. Do love these angels. I love them too. They're really freaking cool and unique. And they just keep getting bigger. I love that. They love this tank. I did notice the manzanita I had in there was a bad idea because they started scraping or having little scrapes on their scales or slime coat. It healed very fast, no infections or anything. But I just noticed that. a couple weeks after setting them up and having them in there. So that's why there's not that much manzanita in the middle of the water anymore. There's just a couple sticks at the bottom for some detail. Yeah, I've got these two blue. Whoa, that Pleco, man. He was like, fuck you, Angel. That guy's a dick. You know, Plecos are fucking assholes, man. Especially male bristlenose. When they get like fucking king shit of the tank, they're just like, yeah, this is my tank. You touch my fucking algae wafer, eat these fucking spines, bitch. Eat them. Sorry for the cursing. I curse a lot. Hope there's no children. But man, those male plecos, they just like open up their shoulder pads and just shove them away. They're funny. Funny assholes. And these guys did have a spawn last week. But the light, I keep forgetting that this light is on a fucked up timer. And I set it on 24/7 and then it like kicks off 24/7 mode and goes back to the timer mode, and so the light will shut off while the eggs are incubating, and the parents freak the fuck out and they eat them. So that's been my issue lately. So I just need to get a new light that's not programmable and I can just stick it on and not have to worry about it. Because I noticed my success with getting angelfish to raise the fry. These are my pair. They are a true breeding pair that will parent raise, and they will only parent raise if the lights are on 24/7, and that's it for the first like month. That causes a lot of algae, cyano. Uh, so you got to stay on top of your water changes, but they will parent raise, which I find very cool. Craig, what's going on? And they do sometimes fight, you know? They do fight. They'll have little, I don't know, couples war. The male will go after the female a little bit, and the female takes enough or and starts to go after the male. But they're funny. They don't do a whole lot. If they had other dither fish in there, they would be chasing them because they don't want other fish in their tank. They don't care about much for the bottom. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, wild Oscars are awesome. Gotta see the wild Oscars. I had one too. I had a separate 55, right? This was an acrylic 55, and the bottom started to crack. And so I was like, well, this ain't gonna work. So I had to rehome him. Uh, but he was very timid and very personality was a lot different than Finn. And my wild Oscar, his name was Jake. It was Finn and Jake. If any of you guys get the reference, then you know. If you don't know, then you don't know. But if you know, then you know. If you don't know, now you know. Well, you don't know still. If you don't know, Finn and Jake. Plants make a tank for sure. Oh yeah, I think a tank without plants is like, come on, what are you doing? You already have. You're putting on a light on your tank. See your fish, right? And your fish are pooping, and you're putting food into your fish tank every day. Now, unless otherwise because I do have two tanks that do not have plants for good reason. The fish don't allow me to. But if the fish do allow you to have plants, then there's no excuse not to have plants. Because you're going to have the light over your tank if you like to look at your fish. And they're going to be pooping to provide nutrients for your plants. And it's just easy. It makes it easier. It makes the tank look nice, provides a lot of more surface area for beneficial bacteria. It provides hiding spaces for fish, for fry. To grow plants in my with my 397s, but they do okay. Yeah. Live or artificial, make a tank. Yeah. I try to stay away from artificial. I got a bucket of artificial plants. I've had them in the 55 before, but I just noticed that they just trap so much detritus. And I'm just like, ugh. I want the detritus in my filter where I can take it out. And with plants, in my planted tanks, I just leave the mulm. The more mulm, the better, because I don't know what it is, but the tanks with mulm and all this dirty stuff at the bottom makes for really good planted tanks. Well, at least balanced tanks. Like if you just want a tank that can kind of like just do its thing, you're not worried about the aquascape, you're not worried about the trimming or the growth rate of the plants, you're not worried about algae or any of that, then it's a very laid back way of fish keeping that I do. But I still do water changes. Water changes are important. Whether you have low nitrates or not, um, water changes do bring in fresh minerals. They bring in fresh oxygen, fresh water in general. They do take out other chemicals that could be leaching into the water. So if you've got like Sirius stone or if you've got a crushed coral substrate that's constantly leaching calcium and magnesium into the water, that's going to buffer, then you might want to take some of that out so that it's not buffering it too much. You keep eating them oh my Oscars before they are grown. Yeah, those 397s, those are the L397 pleco, or I think there's also an African cichlid called 397s. I might be thinking of something else. Uh, really bad with African cichlids and L numbers in general. Adding more moss and I haven't been eating that yet. Ah. pleco. Now the L397s, those I believe are a hype ancestress. Let me double check. Most of them, I think, leave plants alone. Yeah, those are no Pinoculus, not aquatic arts. Planet catfish. They might be rasping on the plants too much. That's one thing. But I've noticed some plants don't do well with my plecos. Yeah, they're a wood pooper. Sawdust. I've never had a Panoc though. I've never had an L397. So I don't know. They could be a plant eater, you know? It could just be what it is. They like the taste of plants. Panoc poop paper. Market it. Panoc paper. Panocker. No, that doesn't sound right. I don't know. USL, what's going on? Man, they've really been beating up on each other lately too. The the angelfish, they're not really like beating up each other, but they do have some little damages to them. So they're not in perfect condition right now, but they're a breeding bickering couple. It tends to happen when they get into breeding mode. They'll get a little snickery. You can sell it to hippies and greenies. George is back. What up, George? Son didn't know fish poop. Gets grossed out to get splashed. Damn. You should tell him to clean one of your canister filters. You should tell him to do the oldest one. No, don't even tell him it's the oldest one. Just be like, clean this canister filter. Make it the oldest one. He'll get over it. I do have some footage of the reef tank on my phone with the new goby and some other stuff going on with it. I'll try to. how to kill everyone's ears. Hope that fixed it. I should be able to. We'll see if it works. Sorry about that, guys. Just gotta let that upload. Okay. I am leaving. I hope that is better. We shall see. We shall see. So this is. Oh, start over. That was the new coral, and the blenny. Damn. I don't know why that other video didn't upload. Some bitch. I guess I exited too fast, huh? There's supposed to be a third video of the new blenny. It is the thumbnail, so I guess you guys did get to see him. All right. George made a thumbnail. Nice. Aha. Okay. It should be here. There he is. The cute little dude. Blenny. Benny the Blenny, maybe. I think that's what I'm going with. They are an herbivore, mostly. And he eats about anything I put in there. But he mostly just goes around the tank and eats algae, diatom, algae off the glass and the rock. He's really cute and adorable. But he is the new addition to the saltwater. They're asleep right now, so can't look at it right now. Is it on? When on Discord? I haven't looked on Discord at all today. All right, let's change camera. All right, here are here's a 29-gallon, 30-gallon, I guess. And it's mainly just got uh 3 angelfish in it right now, 2 smaller ones, and my bigger guy. Got 2 Siamese algae eaters, some cory cats, a killifish, plecos, a synodonus. Yeah. See, the bigger angelfish is a bit of a prick. But I am growing these angelfish out for my aunt. She has a 55 and she wants an angelfish in there. So I'm growing it out a little bit and making sure it's healthy. Yeah, her 55-gallon has a bunch of plants and guppies. I gave her some guppies and they're apparently taking over. So she wants an angelfish or a fish or something to help control the population. So I was like, well, we'll get you an angelfish because the angelfish will control a guppy population. Go live, except go until jokes off and on, so on. Cool. Karim Talks meets Jad Jokers. Ha, nice. Yeah, 55-gallon tanks are good for angels. I want to get my freaking angelfish into a 55. I've tried keeping my festivums and angelfish together, and it did not work out. Yeah, my festivums beat the shit out of that angelfish. So he stays in here. Dang, we almost been going 2 hours. I think I'm going to kill it at the 2 hour mark, guys. Till about 15 minutes from now. Um, just because I got other stuff I got to do tonight. Um, and shit. And I might try and get a little sleep before the morning show. And I'm going. I mean, Kevin, if you're listening, let me know if we're still doing the stream tomorrow. Because I'm down. If you're down, just let me know. But there will be a stream after the Aquatic Morning Show that will be with Kevin, hopefully. If not, if Kevin won't do it, I'll do it. Um, But I will text Kevin in the morning because he's probably asleep. I don't know. But I made a video for him. It's for the stream. Just like an intro thing. Super easy. I hope it works. I'm just having a hard time sending a large file to him. I don't know how to do that. Probably why the angel is cranky with the smaller one. Yeah. Yeah. This angelfish has been alone pretty much since then with no other angels. And so, yeah, he's just pretty territorial. Maybe I'll give them this angelfish. I like Kevin's channel. Yeah, I like Kevin. He's a good kid, you know. He's funny. You know, he's got in person, he's really funny. And then on camera, he's funny too. But in person, he's a little bit like, I don't know. He's a really cool person. I like Kevin. He's a good kid. He just takes a little tough love. You know, you got to give him some tough love. Query Life, what up, Stephanie? The L236 Queen. I think that's what they're called. If I remember numbers, I'm terrible with numbers. He is 21 now. You know what? I get he's 21 now. People still call me a kid, so I'm calling him a kid. Correct. See? Those are a cool pleco, man. That's a high dollar fish. See, I got my albino bristlenose. I got a super red in there too. Was clearing a 55, 236 tank and found more babies yesterday. Hell yeah. Cha-ching! What the heck is that super red doing, man? Looks like he's on something. He is on rocks. I was tripping out. I was like, what? That looked like a fish almost, but no. He's on rocks. Damn it, Mark. Yeah, I think there's different lines of them. They're cool either way. Let's go down to the uh, what are they called? The pygmy gourami? No, the croaking gourami. No, sparkling gourami. Common names. Oh, that's a little too close. Gotta back it up a little bit. Did that. There we go. Now we can see them. Kind of. Still a little blurry. Still a little blurry, huh? Damn. Better get going. I'll talk to y'all later. Well, have a good night, George. We'll see you later, man. I'll see you maybe next week, hopefully, at the club. And there's 5 sparkling gouramis in here. This is like my kind of quarantine system. This is where I have fish to observe them and make sure they're doing all right. To figure out where they're going to go. Like that pleco on the front. And I got to figure out where I'm putting that baby bristlenose. And there's also about 5 hillstream loaches, little ones that are in here that need to get moved into a bigger tank. This is only a 5-gallon, by the way, and the tank next to it is a 2.5-gallon with rice fish. No filter, no heater, just substrate, a little bit of rock, plants, and light. And duckweed. I gotta scoop out some duckweed. I've also got a mystery snail in there. and one virgin female guppy. She has not seen a male since birth. I scooped her up, grown her out in this tank, and yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with her. But it's one of the fry from the koi tuxedo and yellow tiger antler cross. This is one of the fry that came from them, and so this is a virgin female of that cross. So I don't know. It could be used for outcrossing with different genetics. She's big though. She loves to eat. Not a whole lot of color, but she does have some cool patterns on the fins. Do you happen to know how many shrimplets? Yeah, I think it depends on the shrimp, but most of like the Neocaridina shrimp or Caridina shrimp, they'll have like I think up to 100, give or take some. I mean, it depends on how many will make it. You know, if there's enough uh, biofilm and food available for the fry shrimplets. Many projects ago, yeah, those that female guppy is genetics from our first ever guppy strain that we ever got. And those were the koi tuxedos. And we kept that line going, strain, I guess, going for a very long time. And I guess we still have it going because I have genetics of them from the yellow tiger antler cross. Um, in one of my other tanks. Although they still look like a koi tuxedo, they just don't really have the red head. It's weird. They have a little bit of different like rainbow pattern to them, which is cool. Bamboo shrimp as preggers. Oh, that would be cool, but they're like a monos. Dang. Hey, Joe. Good morning or good evening. I don't know. I think you're about ready to get up for the day in your area. I love this mystery snail in here. That's one of the ones that we got from Roxanne, and that's the one I kept for myself. And Kat got all the rest of them. Night, George. Get some rest. Need to find her a good looking bloke. Yeah. I just don't know what I could cross her with. And these crypts are legit just floating crypts that I pulled out one of my tanks. And they're still growing and, well, at least still doing something. So I'm floating crypts. And I'm going to see how long that'll go. All right, here's Karen. I still got her, y'all. They're like, what? What is this blue light from the camera? But yeah, she does have a couple punching bags in there. Punching bags I call polar parrots and a giant danio. Because if there were no other fish in here, she just sits in a corner and does nothing. She'll sit in that cave and do nothing. Won't even eat. So I was like, I ain't having that. You need somebody to beat up. Karen is my Salvini cichlid, the big cichlid at the bottom. Holy shit, look at that spider, man. Holy shit. You see that? Nightmare fuel. Whew. She wanted it, though. She was going to go eat it. That little spider, man. This is my basement. And this tank's on the floor next to a pile of hardscape. Ah. But she is a stone cold killer in the main tank. I don't have an actual light on this tank, and there's not really a good substrate. There's crushed coral just to keep some buffer, but the black substrate, black background with a good 65K light on top of her. Oh my god, her colors just pop. I know I got some pictures. Boom. That's Karen when she was in the display tank. And she was the most colorful, the most sassy, just beautiful. And this was her at 2 inches. And this is about 2.5, 3 inches. And now she's gone. So she doesn't kill the Danio. No, she leaves the Danio alone. The Danio is kind of in there as like a ditherfish. And because he is a jerk to my tiger barbs that were in the same tank, he would just not leave them alone. And I couldn't find any other Danios the same size. He came from a tank teardown that somebody near me was doing and came with the shit. So I just couldn't really say no. But he's in there. He's fast. Karen can't catch him. But she does beat up those polar parrots. She does beat them up. Sometimes they'll have some pretty nipped up fins some days. But there's a lot of cover in there, lots of caves for them to go into and hide away if she does ever go berserk. But in here, she's like not really queen bitch because she doesn't have the color that she used to have, so she's not that fired up anymore. I want to get her into a bigger tank with a male, hopefully. She has killed all 3 of the males I've tried with her. She's killed 2 of her sisters. I had like 6 of these things at one point. But they're cool. They have a really cool collection point. um, Rio Candelaria, Mexico, and um, they originally came from Rusty Wessel. He collected them and then was breeding them. Kenny E from Daniken got F1s from West Rusty at a auction, and then was breeding them. And I got his F2s from an auction, and from those F2s, I have Karen. Who is going to Fishtoberfest? That's there. So I know that, well, Kenny and Danny are going. Um, I'm going. Well, I mean, everyone that's in the Portland area has got to be going. There's no excuses, folks. No excuses. Do you watch Andy Woods? He breeds a lot of cichlids. He does. And I'm doing one thing wrong that Andy Woods does. He keeps a lot of huge tanks, like 6 foot, 8 foot tanks. I know he has some 4 foot tanks that he uses for grow out, not really long term. So I think my issue here with my big old cichlids is they just need the space. They need 6, 8 foot tanks. 10 foot, you can give it to them. You can give them a 1,300 gallon pond. That's gonna be like the closest thing they'll get to nature, and they will breed. They will be happy. They will thrive, provided you give them the right environment with that 1,300 gallon pond. I mean, wouldn't that be the goal for everything? Like, instead of keeping neon tetras in a 10 gallon, like keeping them in a 300 gallon pond where you can look down on them and watch them in like their natural state. I don't know. But yeah. Andy Woods is good. He's smart. He's got some really cool cichlids. But yeah, my tanks are just too small for a lot of them. So I can't keep them anymore. I tried, figured it out. It's not working. So I have Karen. I've decided to keep Karen because I just love her. I know she needs a bigger tank. This is just a 20 long. I've got her in. The females don't get quite as big, like 7, 8 inches when they're full grown. But when kids move out, I'm going to blow this house up with tanks. Sweet. It's going to be like Kenny E's house, you know? As soon as his kids are moved out, yep, all tanks everywhere. I do want more tanks. It's just hard. In this house, especially. But the cool thing is, I'm still young. I don't plan to have kids. Kat doesn't plan to have kids. That's a mutual agreement. We both kind of thing. But, you know, anything can happen. We're still young. You know? That's the thing. We're still young. I still have a ton of time to do shit. So there's no no reason to rush things, you know. Things will happen in time. Can you put her in a 40? I'm trying to get more 40s down here. I would like to swap out all these, like the 29s and the 26 and the 20 longs. I would like to swap them out to 40s. I just need to build the racks. That's the thing. I have the wall space, but my dumbass just keeps putting stands in a single tank there. When I could have a stand, or not a stand, a rack with like 2 or 3 tanks there. You know, like I just didn't plan out my space well. Impulse bought a lot of used tanks that now I gotta use or just get rid of them. Then tanks that we would find on the road and shit. Just grab them. Grab them. 16 and 20. Almost there. But she is a beautiful fish, and I would like to get her into a 40. I do. I just want more 40s, and at least change my 55 to a 120. Like that, I feel like um, would be more possible because it's the same, almost the same footprint as the 55. It's still 4 feet long, so I got that space covered. It just comes out another foot, which is no problem. I just have to relocate the canister filter, and boom, I got the space. I like 40s too. We are getting more 40s. We got 3 40s now collectively, but one is only set up. I just need racks. Secondhand tanks as sumps. Yep, that's what I'm thinking. I got one of these 40s I got is already a sump. So that's one thing. But that's, and it's got two 29 gallons that drain into it. But I'm thinking like, okay, I got two 29s that drain into it. That's 60 gallons. Right? But I'm thinking, what if I just get a 60 breeder or a 75? Put that on top, drill it, and then have the 40 breeder sump. Found the perfect cheap and good racks for 40s. Oh, cool. You get them from Home Depot? Oh. What's a 40? A 120 liter? I don't know. The 40 breeders are the 36-inch long by 18-inch front to back and like, what, 16 inches tall? Something like that? I don't know. Cool. Thanks, Stephanie. Because I was thinking about building them, but I'm lazy, so I might as well just buy them. So I like doing that. But I like building shit too. But I think I'm just gonna buy them, get it over with. Oh, and these blood parrots are a breeding pair, which are also why I decided to put these polar parrots instead of my other polar parrot in here, because since these are a breeding pair, they are way more aggressive. They're assholes. In the main tank, they would chase around everything whenever they spawned. I mean, it was pretty much free food to the other fish. But in here, they still kept their pair, and they protect each other pretty well. You know, I thought it was a good mix. A long time ago, about these racks, you bought at Office Depot. Office Depot, okay. I'll just keep looking. I just need to find a 36 by 18 rack, hopefully. Damn, we've gone all over the 2 hour mark. It's almost 3 a.m. So I gotta get starting on some water changes, tank maintenance stuff, change the filters. Yes, there's also a pleco in here. I have a ton of albino bristlenose plecos, man. They breed like rabbits. So pretty much, it's like you buy two bristlenose plecos, right? You give them a pleco cave, and if you got a bunch of tanks, you will have a pleco for all of your tanks. And then you just remove the cave, try something else, try a different strain, you know? But yeah, I've got a pleco in every single tank, almost. Except for the ones that are too small, like the tens. I think tens are too small for plecos. Unless you're growing them out. You're growing out a little guy, just a single little 1 inch dude. You want to get him to like that 2 to 3 inch mark. Tens are good for that. For the bristle nose, I was growing out bristle nose in a 20 gallon with the parents with guppies, and the guppies would breed at the same time. So it's like twofold. You breed guppies, you breed plecos in the same tank. That was a pretty good moneymaker, but yeah, nobody wanted bristle nose. No, the people that wanted bristle nose wanted 3 to 4 inch bristle nose. And when I got my 3 inch bristle nose, barely 3 inches, it took me like 9 to 10 months, something like that, like a really long fucking time. And then they wouldn't take them for over $1. So that's the end of my trying to breed plecos for profit, at least albinos. And the guppies, I mean, they breed fast, they grow fast. I just got bored of them. And the stores they don't want the same strain over and over again. They want new shit. So yeah, it's hard to breed for profit, I think. Some people can pull it off. I built a very narrow and tall, thick glass tank to stand behind my tank. I pump it into it higher than my 125 main tank, so it overflows back to the tank. Like a bog, but fancy. Clean once a year. That's really cool. So yeah, like a bog filter, an overhead sump. That's really nice. Makes it great is the monsters in the tank cannot break the heater. They also add them in the stand in the back. Yeah, so that little sump area that the water pushes up into and drains back into the tank. Um, that's where you can keep all your heaters, thermometers, any probes, uh, air stones, CO2. If you're doing that, especially if you do salt water, you can keep all your equipment, all the equipment that could be in the tank, except for like your power head that provides flow for the tank. But like your heaters, probes, shit, ATO, all goes in some. But I am going to head out of here. Hopefully, y'all enjoy your early morning for your East Coasters. USL down in South Africa, I think, if I remember correctly. Pretty cool. Beautiful spot to be. Lots of cool plants and shit. I talked too much. I'm out of here. Peace out, y'all. Love y'all. And see you in the next one. Sorry I ain't doing a whole lot lately. Shit, just been busy with life. Although I'm still going to try to upload and be around as much as I can. You know? But I'm still here. Still around. Peace out.